it seems clear to us that the investigation into Benghazi, this 8th investigation into Benghazi, is political. That has been very clearly stated by a number of Republicans over the past month. But the polling is a bit mixed in terms of people's... They seem to accept that message, which we're going to show you in a second, but what they then do with that information is a bit odd, and hopefully Ben can help me to understand it. So overall, 72% said that the panel is being used to score political points, compared to 23% who said it was carrying out an objective probe. Those 23% are morons. But most people seem to understand that it's political. And I imagine that there's probably some Democrats who still just don't get it. We're in that 23, but whatever.
I doubt it. But getting to 72%, getting to a 72-23 breakdown on an issue in today's politics is amazing. I mean, that's got to be something the whole country unifies behind.
Yeah.
You know, like campaign finance reform.
Exactly, yeah. Now, this is a CNN poll. It also found that 40% of Americans think that the congressional hearings into Benghazi have gone too far. Now, that is a much lower number, which implies that there is a significant chunk, something like 32%, if it's the same people, who think it's clearly political, but it hasn't gone far enough yet.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Right.
And then finally, meanwhile, a slim majority, 51%, said Republicans have handled the hearings appropriately, up from 48% in late May and early June. So after it became more clear that it's political, they felt, it's political, good job.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. It is. They're counterintuitive, those numbers. But unless you believe that they think the way you said it. But you said it mockingly, so I don't even think
I did.
So I don't think people really think, well, it's political, but I like it. It's just about way you ask the question. So if you ask, have something that Congress does, which has an approval rating solidly in single digits. If you ask, is Congress being too political, the answer will be yes.
Regardless of what the rest of the sentence is.
Almost regardless of what the sentence is.
Yeah.
But Benghazi, it comes in solidly. And like if you, I wonder if they'd said if you'd included Hillary in the sentence, in the question, I bet it would have been closer to even. But still, political is going to get you a response of yes. And then the other one pretty much breaks down along party lines.
Yeah, that's
more or
probably
less.
the case. They could have asked something like, do you believe that the investigation is primarily interested in finding out the truth about what happened in Benghazi, or is it primarily interested in destroying Hillary Clinton's presidential chances, a mixture or neither? I think that would have given you a little bit more information than simply saying, is it political? Because clearly it's political, which is to some extent.
Which is why Hillary's answer in the debate about who her enemies are and saying, she said Republicans, right?
She fairly widely and vaguely said Republicans.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and she's getting some flack for that. David Axelrod says it was a mistake, and obviously Joe Biden.
Joe Biden not a fan of it.
Not a fan of it, but where it would have been effective, literally, if she'd said Republicans in Congress. Like it's totally different. Just make sure that it's not people.
Keep saying Congress.
Right. And I would have said it's the far right-wing Republicans in Congress. Then you can't get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, first of all, she was joking. It was obviously a line designed to make people laugh. But that's the difference.
Like
you say congressional Republicans is different than, because everybody hates congressional Republicans. Yeah. Republicans don't like congressional Republicans.
If you just say Republicans, then people watching the debate think, oh, I'm her enemy?
I'm her enemy. Or then they just, but what that seems like is partisan. Congressional Republicans is Congress.
Yeah.
We can't trust them.
And then you think,
Republicans, even if you don't think it personally, then you're like, oh, that's the other party. You're just saying you're not going to work with the other party. I mean, it was a joke. It was fine. Too much has been made of it, but that's the difference.